This is the congresswoman who thinks that shouting her own version of history lessons through a blown-out microphone makes her sound profound. The latest clip is just that. She's on stage screaming about who built New York City. Go ahead and play this one, boys.
This city was built by the Irish escaping famine, Italians fleeing fascism, Jews escaping Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow, Latinos seeking a better life, Native people standing for themselves.
Oh my God. What's this, dance she's got while she's screaming? I know, everyone's favorite whisper singer turned philosopher. The girl who could make an entire career out of sounding like she's trapped in a vent system and now wants to lecture the world about wealth and morality. So she's up there at the Wall Street Journal event getting an award called the Music Innovator Award. Play the clip, guys.
I'd say if you have money, it would be great to use it for good things and maybe give it to some people that need it.
Oh my God. First off, isn't she a professional singer? She's just all over the mic and it's hitting her face. And now she's talking about lowering the voting age to 16. Check this out.
I think we should reduce voting age to 16. I'll tell you why. So Gen Z, their age about 13 through 27. They've only known the climate crisis. They missed substantial parts of their education because of the pandemic.
Welcome to Stay in the Fray podcast. I'm your host, Ryan. This is where headlines get hit hard, hypocrisy gets shredded, and the absurd are laughed at. If you want comfort, this isn't your place. If you want blunt and unfiltered, I'm your guy. Join me in the fray.
All you gotta do is just listen up.
Hey guys, welcome back. More and more desperation from the left. I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's constant. And I feel a responsibility to share this with you and to call these people out and have a little bit of a laugh at it, but also realize that it's pretty serious these days. The Democrats are just circling the drain. The other day I saw it's down to 16% Democratic Party approval rating. That's not good. And because of that, they're only getting louder. They think if they scream hard enough, nonsense suddenly turns true. Like reality is just going to bend over and hug their delusion. We're at the point where it's not even debate. They're not even really trying that. It's just performance. It's all they have. Straight up scare tactics and fairy tales dressed up as policy. They're rewriting history, inventing oppression, and telling you to give away your money like they're the saints of all generosity. You got people are saying 16-year-olds should now be able to vote, that billionaires should hand over their wealth, private property shouldn't even exist. And somehow New York was built by every group that's ever existed in human history. Oh, don't forget the horror stories, the children being dragged out of their homes in the middle of the night. Apparently that's happening somewhere also. It's pathetic. This is what happens when their ideas are proven to be bad for the country over and over again. It's what happens when they can't win with logic. They reach for fake emotion. Fear becomes the product, and the weak-minded line up to buy it. Because hate is easy. Blame is even easier. Responsibility, however, no chance. This is Stay in the Fray podcast. It is November the 3rd, 2025. Let's roll. I'm going to jump into it, and we'll start with one of the loudest examples of what happens when volume replaces thought. We all know and love her for her content. AOC. She's definitely a repeat member of my show here. This is the congresswoman who thinks that shouting her own version of history lessons through a blown out microphone makes her sound profound. The latest clip is just that. She's on stage screaming about who built New York City. And I mean screaming. You can hear the mic like blowing out. It's like she's trying to exercise the spirit of logic from the crowd. Go ahead and play this one, boys.
This city was built by the Irish escaping famine, Italians fleeing fascism, Jews escaping Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow, Latinos seeking a better life, Native people standing for themselves, Asian Americans coming together in Queens, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, in Manhattan, in Staten Island, in this country.
Oh my God. What's this like dance she's got while she's screaming? You'd think she was reading off a BuzzFeed diversity checklist, but I don't know. She's talking about how the city was built. Here's the thing. None of it even connects. There's no point. There's no argument to what she's saying. It's just loud noise wrapped in fake compassion. So apparently, disagreeing with her socialist nonsense means you hate every group she just shouted at you. That's her whole playbook. Label, divide. It's race baiting dressed up as this history class. Let's get real for a second. New York was established before the United States existed. Jews escaping the Holocaust in the 1940s didn't build the city. Black Americans fleeing from Jim Crow in the mid-1900s, they didn't lay the foundation of Manhattan. The city was already standing, filled with Irish immigrants, tradesmen, and builders, long before AOC's revisionist bedtime story. She got a couple right. Sure, the Irish and the early Italians did help build parts of modern New York City. But Italians fleeing fascism, that's the 20th century. The buildings were already there. The system was already built. The laws already written. But see, history isn't what she's selling. Division is. Emotion is. Because if you make people feel guilty enough, you don't have to actually make any sense. And that's the trick. Scream loud enough, throw out just enough historical words, and hope the applause covers up how empty it all truly is. Here's what she doesn't want you to realize. Trump's support among Black and Hispanic voters grew massively. So the people she claims to represent are walking away from her victim narrative. They see what's happening. They're smart. They're living in the chaos that her policies create. AOC's brand is simple. Confusion plus confidence equals applause. And unfortunately for her, that's only enough to fool a small crowd that thinks shouting equals activism. So yeah, this is what happens when emotion replaces thought. And trust me, it only gets dumber from here on out. That was AOC. Let's move on. I want to change it up a little bit. This is not going to be a politician or a has-been celebrity. This celebrity is actually still relevant. Not that I know why or how, but she is. And that makes it scarier. Let's talk about Billie Eilish. I know, everyone's favorite whisper singer turned philosopher. The girl who could make an entire career out of sounding like she's trapped in a vent system and now wants to lecture the world about wealth and morality. So she's up there at the Wall Street Journal event getting an award called the Music Innovator Award, which, by the way, should have gone to her brother because that guy actually writes the music. But sure, let's hand it to the person who mumbles over it. Go ahead, play the clip, guys.
I would just say, like, we're in a time right now where the world is really, really bad and really dark, and people need empathy and help more than kind of ever, especially in our country. And I'd say if you have money, it would be great to use it for good things and maybe give it to some people that need it. And love you all, but there's a few people in here that have a lot more money than me. And if you're a billionaire, why are you a billionaire? No hate, but yeah, give your money away, shorties. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Oh my God. First off, isn't she a professional singer? She's just all over the mic and it's hitting her face, and that's not what this is about. There it was. She looks right at the crowd, full of people who built companies, created jobs, funded half the planet's tech, and says, if you're a billionaire, why are you a billionaire? Give your money away, shorties, or whatever the hell she said. Who do you think you are, Billie? You started making millions at 14 because you had a bedroom mic and a label-connected brother. That's not struggle. That's good timing. And now you want to scold the people who keep the lights on in the economy because it makes you sound deep and edgy, virtuous. Let's play a quick round of reality, shall we? Elon Musk, billionaire, reusable rockets, electric cars, global internet coverage. Bill Gates, billionaire, wiped out polio in multiple countries, malaria programs that actively save lives. Mark Zuckerberg, billionaire, funding AI research, medical data sharing, global connectivity projects. Billie Eilish, oh well, she just pledged $11.5 million coming up from her new tour. Hasn't even happened yet. She's pledging it to food equity and climate justice. Great. Okay, it's like me tossing a quarter in a wishing well and calling myself a philanthropist. She's worth $54 million. I think it's higher than that, but that's what my research gave me. Her next tour is projected to gross around $300 million. And she's telling everyone else to give their money away? By the way, the cheapest ticket to her show is $120 before fees. But sure, let's take financial advice from someone who charges a week's worth of groceries to watch her mumble in blue light. This is the new religion, performative guilt. Pretend you care, donate a fraction of a fraction, and shame anyone who doesn't broadcast the generosity. It's fake virtue on repeat, and it's rotting culture from the inside out. Billie, here's the deal. You can give away your money. That is your right. How generous of you. But you don't get to demand that everyone else do it in the same capacity. This country was built on freedom and opportunity, not forced charity dressed up as moral purity. You want to make the world better? Stop pretending self-loathing is noble. Keep making good music. Or tell your brother to. Enough of Billie. My goodness. All right, let's let's go to Chicago. Let's talk about Chicago's finest. Mayor Brandon Johnson. This is the man who somehow manages to make the previous mayor, Lori Lightfoot, who terrified me when I looked at her. She looked like the sane one now compared to him. This guy gives speeches like he's auditioning for a movie that doesn't exist. Part drama, part hallucination, just weird, robotic words. And in this clip, he's back at it, turning enforcement of federal law into some kind of dystopian horror story. Listen to this. Roll it, guys.
No one is going to convince me what the Trump administration is doing against black people and brown people can ever be justified. It is racist. When you have black babies being thrown in the back of vans, zip tied in the middle of the night, and masked men sticking guns in the faces of black and brown people, that is nasty, is vicious, is racist. Dr. King described it as an evil. Militarism and that formation is an evil.
Forgive me for sighing, excuse me, over the top of that elegant speech, whatever he was doing. You heard it. He said it with a straight face. Right now, with this administration, black babies are being thrown into vans and zip-tied in the middle of the night. And masked men point guns at black and brown people. What the hell is he talking about? Zip-tied babies? Did I miss that headline? Is there footage? I need to see this. Is there a single shred of evidence? No, because it didn't happen. It's a bedtime story for activists who need a new monster under the bed. And here's something that they hate. Context. allow me to explain something that he won't. Enforcing immigration law isn't racist. It's the law. ICE agents aren't boogeymen. How about this? Little nugget for the mayor. How about half of ICE agents aren't even white? So if Brandon's logic holds, that means that black and brown ICE agents are racist against black and brown people. That's a new level of intellect that we're working with here in Chicago. And about those masks, I keep hearing this. They wear them because your supporters attack them. They dox them, they threaten their families, they show up at their houses. That's why they cover their faces, to avoid becoming the next target of one of your mobs. The insanity of this guy is unbelievable. Chicago is falling apart. Crime is still through the roof. Businesses are gone. People are fleeing. Instead of fixing it, he's up there screaming about black babies in vans. Zip-tied. I lived there in Chi-Town for about 3 years. Beautiful city, filled with hardworking people. Good Midwestern town. Politicians like these are the reason it won't ever completely thrive to its full potential. People are packing up and they're not looking back. We did. The Victim Act is stale. The race card is maxed out. People are waking up to it. When half the city's terrified to walk home and you're blaming federal law enforcement instead of the actual criminals, that's not leadership, dude. It's political propaganda. Brandon, you are not a mayor. You are a parody of one. You're trying to sell fear because fixing the mess would mean admitting that your types of policies caused it. Moving on from Brandon. Yeah, we're going to do this. I can't. I wanted to ignore this woman, but I just can't. Kamala Harris. She just refuses to go away. She can't take a hint. Go enjoy happy hours. This is not going well for you. These appearances, these interviews. It's going great here for content. But other than that, she's out here again, repeating to anyone who will listen that the 2024 election was the closest one in the 21st century. Which, by the way, there have been like a whole 7 elections in the 21st century. But 2024 was definitely not even close. Do I have to do it again? All swing states went to Trump. Popular vote went to Trump. The Electoral College was a landslide. Math was never her strong suit, unless it is counting new ways to embarrass herself. Now she's talking about lowering the voting age to 16. Because apparently teenagers who can't parallel park or make eye contact anymore should be helping decide global policy. The desperation from the left continues. They're losing their illegal votes, so they have to try and make up that ground somehow. So kids, sure, why not? Check this out.
I think we should reduce voting age to 16. I'll tell you why. So, Gen Z, they're age about 13 through 27. They've only known the climate crisis. They missed substantial parts of their education because of the pandemic. If they're in high school or college, especially in college, it is very likely that whatever they've chosen as their major for study may not result in an affordable wage. They've coined the term climate anxiety to describe fear of not only being able to buy a home, but that fear will be wiped out by extreme weather, but fear of having children. It is expected that Gen Z will have 10 to 12 jobs in their lifetime. They are a larger number than boomers. They're a specific generation of people who are going to impact our nation and the world. And I think we must invest in them, but I think that they are rightly impatient with a lot of what is the tradition of leadership right now. And if they were able to vote because they know everything that's happening right now is going to impact them more than anybody older than them for the most part.
Oh my God. Sorry, I subjected you guys to that for that long. She starts rambling about Gen Z and how they've only ever known the climate crisis. Yeah, Kamala, I'm sure no other generation has ever dealt with weather before. And then she says they missed substantial education because of the pandemic. What do you mean, 2 years of Zoom school? And what administration made that happen to begin with? Yours. She goes on about this whole climate anxiety labeling, which, let's be real, is not an actual condition. It's just the new emotional support slogan for people who read too many headlines, like her absurd stepdaughter. No one outside of these professional social media activists say that phrase out loud. It's embarrassing. And then she claims young people are scared to have kids because of the economy and climate change. Or maybe they're just scared to bring children into a world where politicians like you have no policy. Here's the truth. Every generation has problems. But this idea that 16-year-olds are these wise, socially conscious, politically aware thinkers, please. They don't even want to be that. They're more worried about getting a fake ID than balancing the budget. And they should be. The irony, she says they're impatient with the current leadership. Yeah, so are we, Kamala. The impatience was for your leadership. You and Biden. You were in charge while inflation exploded, borders collapsed, and international respect evaporated. Trump is bringing it back. I know you hate it, but the numbers show it. And I'm not so sure that Gen Z would give you the one-up you think they would. This woman is delusional. Every time she speaks, it's like her mouth and her brain are in two different zip codes. And now she wants to hand the vote to kids who can't even get into an R-rated movie. Kamala, if your best strategy for saving your party is recruiting teenagers, then congratulations. You've officially run out of adults willing to take you seriously. And now, the grand finale of this episode, we have to talk about Zohran Mamdani. I'll be honest, I'm genuinely worried for New York City. I used to really enjoy visiting. I wasn't there that long ago. I have friends there. But it's about to put this guy in charge and prove exactly what we've been warning about. Maybe we just have to let it happen so that it never happens again. So let's hear from the guy himself with a mic, a manifesto, and apparently a disdain for the idea that you might own the property you actually worked for. Roll this, boys.
My platform is that every single person should have housing. And I think faced with these two options, the system has hundreds of thousands of people unhoused, right? For what? And if there was any system that could guarantee each person housing, whether you call it the abolition of private property or you call it, just a statewide housing guarantee, it is preferable to what is going on right now. And I think that people try and play like gotcha games about these kinds of things. And it's like, look, I care more about whether somebody has a...
The last word was care if they have somebody has a home. This is incredible. Let me get this straight. Somebody builds a house, buys it, pays for it, and now we're supposed to give up the idea of ownership because in this dude's mind, it's preferable to abolish it. Let me get this specific about this. This election is coming up. Here's what else this guy is selling. Freeze the rent on nearly 1 million stabilized apartments in NYC. Shift the tax burden from outer borough homeowners onto richer and whiter neighborhoods. Build city-run grocery stores and have free buses while you're at it. It sounds like a utopia, except utopias always have a bill, and someone always has to pay it. Let's pull back the curtain a bit. Ownership? He told you to question it. Private property? Optional. Preferable to abolish in his eyes. Wealthy neighborhoods? Get ready for extra taxes. Renter majority? The voter base he's after massively. The consequence? Wealth fleeing the city, billions of dollars walking right out the door. Because if you punish success long enough, it eventually packs up and gets the hell out. And what about his defenders saying they don't like when we call him a communist? He's not a communist. He's just a democratic socialist. Fine. Words matter less when your policies push housing into crisis and personal property into uncertainty. You can call it whatever you want, but when you're talking about abolishing private property and shifting tax burdens, the label doesn't change the effect. So let's ask, who benefits from Zoran? Hardworking people trying to buy a home? Nope. They'll face higher taxes, less stability. Business owners and investors? Hell no. They've already started moving out. The power brokers and status quo folks? Laughing all the way to the bank, dressed as victims. Mamdani wants to reimagine New York City. But what he'll actually risk is destroying the engine that made it. Because a city doesn't thrive when its foundations are in fear, confiscation, and uncertainty. When property becomes a punching bag, owners become absent. When investment evaporates, the city starves. So here is your takeaway, New York City. I'm looking right at you. The problem isn't just that Mamdani is saying wild things. It's that a lot of you are nodding along. You hear promises, you see slogans, and you don't ask, well, how does this work? Or who pays for this? You just sound like you like the sound of having free stuff and someone else to blame. And in this case, the blame is on New Yorkers if they own something, if they built something, if they dared to succeed. Because now they are the richer and the whiter neighborhood in his crosshairs. So there it is. 5 perfect examples of what happens when preying on emotion hijacks logic and delusion replaces responsibility. The left has turned politics into a therapy session where screaming is evidence, victimhood is currency, and feelings are the new facts. They want to control what you own, what you earn, what you say, and so on. They call it progress. I call it collapse, disguised as compassion. I'm not angry because these people exist. I'm angry because millions cheer them on like it's noble. They swallow the fear, they echo the slogans, and they never stop to ask if any of it actually helps. It's all about virtue signaling, plain and simple. This is how societies rot, not from bad ideas, but from people too lazy or scared to challenge those bad ideas. You can't fix crazy policy with calm reasoning. You just have to let it burn once so people finally learn not to touch the stove again. That's where we are now, watching it happen and knowing that we warned them. So if you made it this far, help me out. We are a team. Hit the like, toss a comment below, share this, spread it. I know you guys are fatigued by all of it as well. This show only grows because of you. So stay aware, stay unshaken, stay the course, stay in the fray. Love you guys.
All you gotta do is just listen up.